a very, very sad date. I think Thursday around 11 a.m.
Okay.
And I used 2 phones. But I'm for no afraid back when I'm canteen when I meet the be bass run and be here. And I call for a media. Ujo bo flower on time flower.
Yeah.
To a flower, either say, then they cost me pay. Make me call my friend back. What is he saying? And I couldn't do Agyeman-Rawlings. I'm near Ghana, near Money Bina. I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You were a question, Agyeman. A tapukuma me, me who was here. On the Sam George, other ministers near the me who to a kind of it didn't click. And I think 2 weeks ago, I'm TikTok, Papa could form things a wedding, no say.
Yeah.
Program be on it to while. You know, to say. Camaraderie, everything was cool. So
it was full of life.
Yes, it was kind of maybe. So normally, no, Anna's had in a bar because of what we do as journalists. You need to confirm from the family, and also who source be the graphic post here. Follow graphic post here. No, I felt compared to also post it. Me who has a graphic ability story, no, but I'm not linking. No, it's I think around 1:30. Then my online sources said that the family has confirmed. I'm so wow. See, I want to be crowded. Say even I think Wednesday, you know. Let me just get the picture. I think I had a picture somewhere. Wednesday, you know, she was even at another funeral. This is it. Yes, maybe a friend of Lucy Konadu. Or also funeral be Ifa. No, was here Wednesday noon.
Really?
Yes, and my papa could focus you no kind. Say Wednesday, no. Oh, Thursday no pa. Send your weekend around 10 a.m. 11 a.m. Papa could or 10 around 10 a.m. To I say Wednesday no crying the way you na see I saw your Kaiser King. No baby answer papa na hoye. Papa could for 2 weeks ago no my bon come what age. Just who ye fedodo. Almost right to buy no papa hoye. Na de tia is woko. So it's a very interesting stuff. But when I heard the news, I decided to watch on one talking about her life. Because one thing I'm in this career, and I say if you are not careful and you always pick things from the internet, it may not be entirely accurate.
That's true.
So I decided to go behind the veil and watch certain things. But before that, there's a bit of pictures to create a bit of context, and I'll come to what I listened to. So this is 1999, 24 February. On name Madam Hillary Clinton. No, former First Lady, Secretary of State, presidential candidate. I think so. Almost
the picture is so adoring.
Yes, almost the same in many ways. So attempted to be a president. She also attempted to be a president. Maybe a Secretary of State in one but former First Lady. And so they have that synonymous again. Messiah could picture because of this one, Maya Angelou. I mean, one of we are seeing 3 tributes. It pushed me. The tribute to Nelson Mandela. His day has come. A tribute back one, I touch him a pan. So that's my Angelo. That is Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. So I brought this picture for symbolism. We know my Angelo and the activities. So you be ma empowerment. And then they be a cousin we say, open so who society be can one way had be major. Society they will treat man and color. A key man me pan. So this is somewhere 1982. This picture between Dr. Maya Angelou and Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. And you could be a who knows a star, no, Madame Fulio because it's slow it. You know, was our iconic G and on the side. And I met sure be a free bar. And yeah, there's on a flight lieutenant John Rawlings, Achimota. Then you come to K University, Africa Hall, Konami Continental, Unity Hall. Intimate because I'm somehow affiliated to her because I know Africa Hall. No, remember a bit of contest here. Then this next picture is about the family. Correct for minimum one almost said but minimum say ba akodi anima ba akodi asantoa as another day I think a bit clear than Beman Kimati. So and obete ne ho NDP say person contest 2016 about ballot and so because 22 contest Prof Mills anye. This is 2020. President Rawlings free on the 12th of November 2020. 5 years so there's a bit of contest. Now let's go back to the Nana Konadu. Make sure an interview, you know. I learned certain things. Now, I looked at Kaima Dibia, my pastor can be say, God intervenes in the affairs of men using men.
Yeah.
Or say, Yankopon Ranya so the Brafred to Kubati as ye, or say, Yankopon, yes, soon, Yankopon, Nishiano came, unhia na dum to be ye mo bia ma wa de be fa nipa so na nipa ye saa mo na ma why am I saying so ana Konadu ye wo no Cape Coast be nim so ya Asante in 1948 na ne papa eye adwuma wo UAC pay me checks na ye trading company supermarket chains of companies ni ade to movie ye otena Swedro kakra free Swedro no ana omo call takwa ana omo bank kokko into ye well traveled na enkoko no ko school kakra ba na ni timi ne de
before so beto aso no Eugene I say literature ni nyina highlight your papa little is said of mama.
Yes, I think say ne papa no because of prominent you say ne papa no free UAC no okay adwuma o GNTC
okay
that time no his father was one of the only 2 black managers arising to that position no the second man no I think Reginald Dana that is Kofi Annan papa it was say papa no I say baby o ye adwuma nyina no there was that prominence no the first black say chancellor I go care no say happy ba for yet me fan that he was the first black vice chancellor in him no and I think say because of that clout and papa no one ne baby o ye adwuma nti na man ba na mame I think Elena Jima no so no Asante Royal no so your back kukuduru for any other the literature is there and Osha talking a lot about ne mame because nane papa ne kwa around nane mame ne say holding krami and sani together ni ade no so ko enkoko na mfini ne de ne bra class as o kwa no di ne bra chi but first time on do casual school no around the cemetery mo kwa akra no that is school no say prestigious a promise school no ko kakra ofuro no ko Ghana International School GIS and no kwa achimota no kushia papa ye friend no Jerry John Rawlings and you see owi achimota no ko London Kebia Rawlings are in kwankema so what happened 2 days to so be call London go ne papa wiska papa is prominent and no call ne uncle ho e will invest your Ghana so ko kra no offer me so me ko na no fa se da bi da oni aba ko o mai oni aba ma ko o mai unso be so ko enye yi me nti ase o se wo no ka kire no offer ne say interview a footprint o ka kire no offer ne say aba wo nya me papa na ne we filu so ya Asantini Asantini papa nu ayo papa
yes
e jo se o kwa bro ni say papa ne bebo na sum ba papa na mo no so de kofie enkomo e wo me no papa bebo sa enkomo no afọ ndo wa kofie ne ma me so mbo gbo no kwa ka 2 days o ko London o so ofia ne papa ba your friend ma me ne wo fansu di akire no so nko ne dem na jampanifo bo nkomo wa ne ma me de abufu aba say yesi enye ye park o ba enumere na ya do kukumase
yeah
listen and they be make say me say God has a way so when people ask me to define my life I make it be providence who say see ana de won ti ase but with hindsight no o se senye manati sisi so a me say nyankopon na na e hye no now ne wo financial dey okay Legon adam wan ko Legon satan na Legon na agitation ho na KNUS ne ho na no fada ne buy no fada ne buy KNUS no de ko register so nko ya architecture ana Konadu o so no stubborn kakra to twema na wo fa kwa ade che no ko register so da bi meya art ko decoration some ne ye ne fe that was how she got into KNUS enwe no ba KNUS no and obeshi a vice chancellor for the Vance and Fum or Penasam or Tunifo ba betimi aye we to 31st December movement no aha and an APK
okay
interesting no and okoye deputy SRC general secretary now what's interesting is obey main SRC secretary no na SRC president or APV or being Pro Victor Obeng who will later become the secretary of secretaries for the PNDC
man no free akro no
yes later become the chairman of the KNUS Council. Ghana, how we cannot write thinkers. Oh, to so pejamo name, or from European Union thinkers. Those who shape their politics are PV Obeng. There's an interesting story. To know your general secretary, no, not PV Obeng, and a KNUS SRC president. How would the relationship of PV Obeng form together with Rawlings? PV Obeng is a mechanical engineer, or Yajuma fishing company be a tamale. Flight Lieutenant Rawlings so ne Konadu mpratwe na ye because wan call land no gusu o Ghana no pe obi onim afidie hu ne mabi no aboa no armed forces ne mabi no oh me abrantia na me di secretary president o ye mechanical engineer that was the connection between Rawlings and PV Obeng okay so one say my make no sometimes these all these things are divinely connected in a certain way. It's in activism, no. So in the target in India that abandoned the Nkemwa. But back in university, for you to become a secretary of an S house in so was our election there, you need to have mobilization.
Yeah.
And now for so good morning gun. At a point, the 31st December movement, they had almost 2 million people. You won't cry school, your colleague friend to tell friend was the first time we call school of Amboy to me area, na 31st December school. My man and Casa Bible be soon or a poem at the man. Omokoya volunteers a coach and papa say, obey my nipabi, uncle school nibi. So first time I wore a classroom, a 31st December movement school, and ne Obo Ghana source journalists, about 10, 20, 20 here in so the impact no wide. And one yes, I'm academic at a point. Some researchers even quote 870 preschools and community schools will create here. That is the impactful. Me first lady from Bombay because of my but she was the longest serving, briefly 79, and I started 31st December 1981. A choir Junta for almost 11 years, transitioned to become the first one in the first Republican dispensation. Me who first said the union no impactful some amida. She was that impactful, and it's because of one uncle's advice. It's for me, I'm a tragic will be a cobra. And I'm a cat one for say sometimes we be two. Is there so bad transfer? Soon, you know, now that's why you're more. No? Learn the lessons in there, then move on. Maybe God is orchestrating that pattern because of Bibia and that one. Go be a Colandana, Edian Caraya and Kemaso. And in fact, let me kind who was it? Ambassador DK or say some of these established diplomats say sometimes even the transition to the democratic rule in the Fourth Republic, you can credit her.
Yeah, largely.
Because for you to become the wife of J.J. Rawlings in the public lineage, and here is our Henemano. Hardly pass over better and crown, so she played a certain significant role. Intermediate, she needs to be celebrated. State, through His Excellency, 3 days state morning. Flag if you say half mass, and flag half mass near the a good state by the a cocoa bay. But it also tells you say nipa biana sometimes you need to also take certain decisions if you feel strongly about it.
Especially bold ones.
And I know can you be
so a minority, no?
Yes. Also no can you be bold. Oh, na senior, then you catch a arm. Oh, you Jimmy Poisson can you say? Edmund me and you be a grow. You see, at the end of clear. Let me give you an example. And now, I'll be sending me video about Adoma Kubefi. Or one crew for being MPP near there. Many quarter down to a track came. Yes, I am about for your mayor's caneka. So they be an son your kind. Who person will take it group think ideas. But you be a one who could be. You will not distinguish yourself. But I don't know, history has captured this in the Fourth Republican dispensation. Oba or contested the first time on the ballot. I don't know. Oba be kind of no. My motivation be the two son. Maybe Ghana get a female president. Who knows? Fenebaba is another the war. You get it. To an amono. And for me, Obu past 70. And I mean, me who say sad. I rather see it as a celebration of life. Celebration of life because literature and also. Tamana me share no share the exposure any BBR. But luckily for her, no, I never come the bashes and go for no book.
Oh yes.
Because you see, no why books are powerful. The first baby back for Agyeman-Rawlings. Only see your Kofor Foundation. Otro book could be an eye-care champion. When I read the book, I had a different view about eye-care champion. And for me, after Kwame Nkrumah, there's no Ghanaian leader head-to-head who beat the champion. To me, after reading that book, because that book could serve as the igniter baby could be further. The book could make kind of weekend. So we are happy that you leave the book could be near Yanazan Crown. They say Papa Nio Mamino, but my penny for. So they can. That sadly, Nanka, I think so. The birthday is 17th November. Or Miss November born. I think I cut just about what? Roughly 22 days and nobody the 77th birthday. Mamma no looking the age crown, half a 77. But Son your kind. Sometimes, you know, Yamini Nimini a warrior. You know, yeah, the best dressing Yakopon.
On her, the way I will see a baby near muscle. But me from where I'm coming from, because of my background, if you know her, Yemra, yes, development of law.
Yes.
Obi a constitutional law kakra bia be hu say you cannot discuss constitutional law. Wabra onhwe MPP versus Attorney General, the 31st December movement case. One say na 31st December no you cool ne see. Na oman institutionalize say e be day I drew ho a oman be celebrate. MPP at the time took the matter to court. There one particular case, a travel year pa, it was Supreme Court. MIA issued that particular case, you know, and they establish a separation of powers. Yeah, they establish the supremacy of the Constitution. Yeah, and when the chair said the court intimately interfere, say you instituted the bisa a holiday. Now that is supposed to be under the purview and preserve for the legislature and the executive. The say 31st December woman and as a woman or more movement and so case in which me aba now shaping even the discourse of our law. I think she is the she was the architect behind
yes, it. Even another one cried the literature on the PNDC law 111, the interstate succession law. Hi, ban kola, papa free nebusian for be jim ni ade no. Even lumba in some air can you say krano. Uzo mi anoma ko interstate succession law ni na ono ni activism any ade no.
And one enya ba be do say spousal or marital rights.
Yes, entina me say me do am kan say ade ni chief of staff for ka a man first lady guy Rebecca this kind of coin. I was in between. Yeah. Say sometimes you see obi play role bia. For example, Otumfo. Charlie, nyemo mo ye nukromu hana ndaji no. Go and read Manas Azuri documentary about the book, the 4th John. Charlie, the role Otumfo played in 2016 to safeguard Ghana's peace in Unim. It is sometimes you know omu no enya visible sir, and also some role delicate one you careful as you are trying to usurp the powers of your husband. You know, it's you know they play very key role, but I was also not too happy. And when I catch another on Thursdays, I say obi wana because me kai any monumental DBI name after her on top of my head me kai and now me busa madam Fubili or Love FM me colleague you know can say oh school be Ashtown 31st December back on your friend Konadu Agyeman. There's nothing really monumental about her, but to share the empowerment when it comes to women, maybe as a girl senior high school be cry something because you see that they are so what Emma a shameful phone friends will be a when you're the need what can be beer. Say mini baby say so maybe she paid and you see when it comes to Rawlings, I did analyze here. I make us a chalk and cheese. There are people who will love him. There are people who hate him. The dark days were real. Yeah. Rawlings, how did the dark days are real. Yeah. We all have heard the stories. We all watch the.
As analytical as you are, all discussing days you will look at the exigencies of the time.
Exactly.
At the time.
Exactly.
Were they not being hailed?
Yes.
Junior Jesus.
Yes.
Let the blood flow.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
So when you come into a different dispensation, now we're discussing those days.
Yes.
You should approach it with circumspect.
Yeah, the context is important. But the back can okay, but all that I will say is that history will be kind to her. She played a role, and Medrin said the state should celebrate her in that order. Now, yeah,